File sharing and version control. So the document management system provides you with the functionality to share files and to collaborate with other users on a single or one file. The versioning of that file is very important so that we don't overwrite others' work or that we have the latest version in front of us if we access a file. So let's go have a look and see what the flow chart looks like that I've created us. And to edit the file and still have version control and share that file is a very, very important functionality. So for instance, if Bill, Michael, Carlos and one or two other people open a spreadsheet at different times, they add information into that spreadsheet and save it back up, that we make sure that the one person does not overwrite Bill's work and Bill doesn't overwrite Michael's work, for instance, but it updates it in as a version of that specific document. So the best way of describing this is a little bit more involved, but the best way of describing this is a step-by-step basis. So I want to edit a file. I need to ask myself a question. Firstly, there's a locking facility inside of the DMS which locks the file for that version, and it locks the file that you will not be able to open that file or download that version and change it and put it back to change the contents of the file. So locking of the file is very important in version control. So the first question that gets asked, if you want to download a file and if you want to edit that file, is the file locked? So if the file is not locked, download that file, then lock the file on the DMS. That will mean that no one else will have access to save over that file. You have control over that file. Then that file name must remain the same name that the one that you've downloaded to your computer. Keep it the same name, because after you've edited it and you put it back onto the DMS, we want to replace the file that's actually lying on the DMS with the new content that you have created in that file. So you edit the file on your PC, you save the file, you're going to upload the file, so that's a drag and drop or just an upload into that specific folder structure. It will then ask you, do you want to replace the existing, or do you want to keep them both with your new file as a new name? No, you replace the existing because you've got control over that. The moment that it lies there, you see that it is lying under the folder structure. Unlock the file, and that is the end, which then you will then be able to go onto the right-hand pane on versions, and you'll be able to see the versions there. If the file is locked and you want to edit the file, it means someone else is busy currently on the file. So if it is locked, you have to, and you want to edit it, you have to wait. You're going to have to wait that file is unlocked. Normally it takes there's a timing setting of about 60 minutes that you have to lock it, and then it will unlock itself, so the guy that actually locks the file. Or if that takes longer and somebody's holding onto the file, contact the owner who locked the file, and you will see who actually locked it, and then ask yourself the question again: is it now unlocked? If it is unlocked, carry on. If you don't want to edit, you just want to view the file and it is locked, just download it. You've got a version and you can delete that version on your computer. So let's go and see how we do it. A file in this structure here in the middle pane just gives you the name, but there's a whole lot of information on the right hand side that you can use. Let's have a look at any of these files. I'll say I want to view at view that file. If I click on shared there, it will give me this information there. So activity, for instance, this is every single thing that happened with that file. Since it was created, it was downloaded, uploaded, shared, and downloaded again. So, which gives us a tracking mechanism as to who touches what inside of the DMS, and also what do we do. We can obviously then share it. There's comments that you can put on and put wider sharing on it. But for this case, there's versioning. So there you can see there's a version that lies there. What I actually would want to do now is I want to save another version. But I'll first want to go and lock the file. The moment that I lock the file, it sees it as locked. Now I can say, okay, now I want to download it. Again, on there, I download the file. After it is downloaded, we can take the file, edit the file, do with whatever you need to do with the file, save the file, and then drag that file back into the storage area. The moment that it arrives in the storage area, it will tell you that there's a conflict, that that file already exists. So if you want to save a copy to the file, then you actually right-click already existing files. If you want to take the new file and overwrite the one that is there, because it's a new version to it, and you have access to it, and you have locked the file, you just click New Files, and you will see it will take exactly the same file name, and it will replace that is on there. Right. So now we can go and have a look. If we go to the right pane again, have a look at versions. There's the second version that lies there. So it is very important. I think my date and time stamps are not correct on my computer. That's why it says a day ago. But that's not important. It will show you the exact time that you have uploaded that document and the version of that document. So the newest one is always in the folder structure. The second tier down is the first one up top, and the third tier down is the second one there on that list. So the activity, if you go to activity, you would see that I've changed the file, I've downloaded it, and I've changed the file, and I actually put it back into the folder structure as a proper version. The moment that I'm complete with this, I must unlock it. It will automatically unlock after about 60 minutes, but you know, we have those pressure days where we don't have time to wait 10 to 60 minutes for somebody else to unlock a file. So just unlock the file, right click on it, unlock the file, and that is checked back into the system as a file ready to use. I can now just click on it, view it. So inside of this system, there's a PDF viewer that very, very nicely spins this file up and shows it to you in the exact format that it is. And that is file versioning. From a file share point of view, if we click on the right-hand side again, we can go and have a look. After we have now done the versioning, we know what activities are happening. Let's share the file with somebody specific. Sharing this file with someone specific inside of our organization, very easily, just click on name or federated cloud ID or email address, click there, and you can go and choose the person that you want to share it with. For this instance, we're going to do it with Brett. So there it is. This file is shared with Brett. Brett will have certain access rights to it. If you click on those three little dots there, so Brett is allowed editing of the file, and Brett is allowed resharing of the file. We can also set the expiration date for this share with Brett, or we can actually put a note to Brett. You know, if there's any background information that you want to share with Brett, and make sure that Brett knows about it, things that you don't want to write inside of the document, but it is for your colleague to know, for instance, that this document is very important for somebody specific. Write it into this note to the recipient. So very easily you create a share to the person. You allow that person either to edit or to reshare. It depends on the allowance that you'll give that person. You can set an expiration date for the share, or you can write a note. Easily share that link. So if that link is shared, I can also now share that link outside of the organization. And we need to be very, very careful the moment that we do that, because there's certain documents that we want to share, and there's certain documents that we can share, but there's also certain documents that we are not allowed to share. Documents that we're not allowed to share are any internal documents. No internal documents can be shared with customers out there. What we do, we create final customer documents. So if I go to customer documents quickly, so from a customer documents point of view, there's specific types of documents that we do share. Customer documents, go into the folder structure, and I can show you, let's for instance, so there are documents such as statements, proposals, invoices, drawings, and agreements, files and documents that we do share. Then there's also general documents that we share, but we never share a .doc, a .xls, any document that can be changed. We only share PDF files in a locked PDF state. And also, preferably, we must put passwords on our PDF files. So it is not necessary to actually put a password on the files when it lies in the structure, but when you do share a file outside of the organization and you send it out, it's a lien or an agreement or something very sensitive like that, it's very easy to actually put a password on the share. All right, so let's just go back to where we were sharing. The process charts, there we go. So this file, which we have now shared with Brett, we need to, now Brett is internal, but we want to share it with somebody outside as well. So I can now say share the link. I can go share the link, and it creates a specific link that someone, if you email that link to someone, they will be able to enter into our system, but in a secure environment. They will not see anything else than this file. And we can create the rights. So we want to allow them editing? No. We want them to be able to download? Yes, they must be able to download the file. Do we want to make it password protected? Oh, for sure. So let's create a password. There's a password of Cobus1, for instance, that I make, and I say take that password, Cobus1. So the moment that they open that they try to open that file now, they're going to have to type in Cobus1. Is there any verification that we need? Is there expiration date that we want to put onto this file? Yes, we can put an expiration date, and that expiration date, let's say, is Thursday next week. And if there's a note, yes, we can type a note and just for instance, just reminder that we need to discuss the invoices for March, for instance. All right, and there we go, the invoices for March, and that link is now set up. I copy that to my clipboard, but now I want to create a chat, and it's a chat session with the shared people that you've created on for this document and for this link. So you go into chat and you join yourself to this conversation. And the reason why you do it, you'll see in a later video when we go onto the talk and video conferencing area of the functionality, that if you've joined the conversation, this conversation will pop up in your video conferencing list. So I'll join the conferencing, join the conversation. Now I am joined to this conversation. I've created the conversation. I don't start the call because the customer must first receive the link that you've sent in the email. They must first enter there. They must first have a look at it, and then you can maybe discuss it. So that is the process of sharing a document. You can also open a document and then discuss the document. So if I open this document, it will open in PDF Viewer. I can then view this document. I can then, in this chat area down below, so if you type in @ and anyone's name inside of the organization, such as Brett, @Brett, there we go, Brett Murray, I will click on it. Anything that I now type after Brett Murray will be connected up to Brett. So, Brett, please look at the next section. So, for instance, this is now a chat session, and these chats will be held for years to come, and we know exactly who collaborated with whom.